next the biggest player of your career. And they're all just trading left, right, and center. The Echo with the Yokai trying to stop the fuse, and it could go down. Corza with the cross angle. Martin, 20 seconds, the fuse on the ground. Corza finds one. Can he cut it down? 15 seconds. Can he find? Kills it easy. Sees the player on top of that. Not a man. They have to get the kills here. They have to stop.
Hello and welcome back everyone to the second game of the day. We've had an action-packed opener and now we're here to close it for a very good night. It's KIL4 versus Xhail. Two big teams facing off against each other. You might just say one is definitely the favorite going into this, but do you think we're still going to see some good action?
I think we're still going to see some good action, but there's definitely some historical score lines from previously in the tournament to suggest that there's a big favorite going on tonight.
Bring up these stats. You, Mr. Statman, did some digging for us before this game. It seems Xhail's on a winning streak.
Yeah, Xhail's on a bit of a winning streak. KIL4 are on one hectic of a losing streak, as we see just highlighting the roster here. Bane, Luxman, Arctic, Blompot, and BKG.
Can I just do it justice? Rerun that in an Afrikaans accent.
Must I do? Luxman, Bane, Arctic, Blompot, in BKG.
There we go. Thank you, Justin. This is the SSA action we are bringing to your screen.
Yeah.
Xhail.
There's your accent for you. That's the KIL4 roster for tonight. Okay. What can we say about the roster? Not much. Unfortunately, they've been on one hell of a losing streak, and when they're facing these players up on the screen here tonight, I don't think that's going to change, unfortunately, for them.
It's not Shock, Skippy, Tulo, Danny, and Sick. They're on quite the winning streak. KIL4, I believe, have not won a single game during this group stage, whereas Xhail are flying high in their groups. And just before we head into this, we have some KDs and stats we want to compare, and some jarring stats at that.
Yeah, so here we have Luxman. We can see he's sitting on a 0.78 KD. Not looking too good. Again, KIL4 have been on one hell of a losing streak. This has not been a good start to the tournament for them. But it's not too late yet for them in terms of the amount of matches they played. They can still turn it around. But with Luxman being the kill leader for his team on a 0.78 KD, it's not looking very strong for them, especially when we're comparing them to their opponents tonight and the kill leader for them of Not Shock sitting with a 4.4 KD.
Sheesh! 4.4 with 500 hours in this game. Now, obviously, we need to asterisk this. This is only tracking KD across this tournament. And Not Shock is only played, and I believe I might be mistaken, but 2 games for Xhail. So obviously that KD stat is a bit one-sided and jaded, but still, this man died 5 times across the span of 2 whole games. That says something. These guys are on an absolute winning streak.
It says a lot, and it says a lot about Xhail as a team. This is a team where they were a bit of a late special entry, but if they were there when we were choosing what would have been the tier 1 and the tier 2 teams, Xhail definitely would have been one of the tier 1 teams. They were one of those teams that showed up in the scene a little while back, were relatively unknown. People didn't expect a lot of them, but since then, I think they've very much shown that they are a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, most definitely. And I believe we're going to head into the social vote here. We took it to Twitter, pulled it up. It seems Xhail, one of the older teams, like you said, here in SSA. It seems Twitter backs that up. 77% going to Xhail, 23% to KIL4. I think we still have an interesting game on our hands, but there is a decisive favorite.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, but I am firmly thinking that KIL4 is not sitting in a pretty situation here. If I just look back through their previous matches, it'll give me 2 seconds just to get the right page up here. Against TKO, who we just saw play earlier, obviously losing to 2K. KIL4 lost 7-5 against 2K. We saw KIL4 lose 7-1 against Bulin, we saw KIL4 lose 7-4, and against V-Drop, we saw KIL4 lose 7-3. So looking into it, they have been able to take rounds. They took rounds against Bulin, they took rounds against TKO, and against the V-Drop players. But it was not enough for a victory. So
Yeah.
it's just a question of can they actually. It's just a question of what do they need to change between these maps, because obviously in the previous matches they had 1 or 2 rounds, but they just weren't able to close it out. So what can they change?
I mean, they could take us to an interesting map. Heading into the map bands, maybe there is the one diamond in the rough that they've prepared.
Don't jinx it. I really want my map. Don't jinx it. You do not jinx it. Okay. First off, skyscraper. Good. Again,
Good.
very consistent with what we've seen in the tournament. No one wants to be the first team to play it. I understand why.
Yeah, it's not that which shall not be named. As the second one comes onto the board, it's Clubhouse. It seems teams have a certain disliking for Clubhouse as of late.
Yeah, I feel like the problem for Clubhouse is that it's a map that everyone knows how to play. So if you want to throw another group of players off, you can
Justin
hear
was
the
really hoping for
sadness.
theme park.
You can hear the sadness in my voice.
Hey, we can't have our cake and eat it too. We've got a good game. We can't always have a good map.
I'm going to have to bribe a team to play theme park at some point. Cafe being gone again, that's another one of the defenders. So those are probably the 2 most defender-sided maps in the game gone. So in theory, we should see a bit more of an evenly spread out score lines for ourselves. Bank being gone, no surprise there.
Are we going to Oregon again?
It is possible. I hope not, though.
There is a
It
chance.
is very much possible. We'll have to see here. It does appear that Chalet is off the board. It's etching ever closer to Oregon, and I'm feeling a little.
It's a 1 in 3. What's it gonna be? Chalet taken off the cards. It feels like all of the kind of shaky maps, you're kind of just relying on the traditional ones. Villa taken out. It's between what, Oregon and is Consulate still in the map pick?
No, it's not Consulate in the map pick anymore. My apologies. I've just got a yawn here. But it's been a bit of a long day. But with that, Oregon has actually been banned out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Xhail. You are my savior.
Where are we going? I forgot. What's the last map?
It would be Border, which would be actually quite
okay.
interesting, because I do believe that's actually some of the first Border we're seeing this entire tournament.
Poggies. Spam Poggies in chat. I like that emote.
Spam
You know, I'm
Poggies.
really glad we're actually. I have an affinity towards YouTube, but I'm really glad we're streaming on Twitch, because now I can just say, like, hey, chat, spam Poggies.
That is a good point, actually, because YouTube chat is just useless with that, unfortunately.
It's dead. Unless you have the extensions, it is dead.
Yeah. But with that being said, Jacques, how's your Border call-outs?
I would like to think it is good. It's an old map.
Yeah,
I've been playing this game. I'm an old head.
It's an old map. Everyone knows how to play it somewhat, even though there has been the rehost. I mean, the rework, not the rehost, the rework. Everyone knows how to play it somewhat.
Don't say that.
Everyone somewhat knows how to play it, and it's kind of. I can't imagine anything too surprising coming out here. I am hoping we do get to see some Shield gameplay come out, because we haven't seen some proper Shield gameplay in a long time.
Why are you always begging for Shield gameplay?
No, not that Shield. I meant like Monty Shield.
Okay, you turn it back now.
But yes, I do also want to see that Shield gameplay.
Typical coach.
Yeah, it's my job, man.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be Border, and you know, sometimes Border feels stale. It really does, especially on the old version. But it seems kind of like a breath of fresh air, at least given the current map selection. I am hoping for some interesting things. I mean, we've got Azami now. We've got the rolling
Sense.
thing. Thank you. There's a lot to play around with here.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of new strategic options since when Border was last in the pool. I do believe this is actually the first, was Border in the last tournament? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so basically, there's a lot of different ways to play the game now since when Border was actually last played in the scene. And one of the ways that, as you mentioned earlier, for the attackers is that you've got new ways
Keeper
of playing it.
barriers.
Yeah, you've got your keeper barriers. You've got what's her name, Osa?
Yep.
Yeah, you got Osa, who's come in now as well. Makes it, and with those different ways of playing the game, you've got completely new ways of doing this. But at the same time, for the defenders now, you've got Azami now, who is absolute nightmare for attackers. It is reigniting the 20-second meta somewhat. And as well, what you've got is you've got a Rooney who wasn't there before, and a Rooney can really cause a lot of time delay, especially on border, where it's one of those maps where kind of the team ends up having to funnel in through one or two doorways or openings in a wall. So Azami really has the ability to just cause some chaos with that, and a Rooney.
Honestly, I think Sense is going to have the biggest impact. Because you say funneling on through a doorway. What do? Pop an ROU. Roll it
yeah.
on through. Light shining through.
I feel like Coastline isn't in the map pool anymore, and I really think Sense would be a great pick for Coastline.
Yeah.
That was the type of map where you could really run. You could run like a Sense. You could run Jackal. You could run like a Monty, and Glaz, and maybe a Thinker or a Lion.
I think you are a very hopeful coach.
Hey, I did that without Sense back in the day.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, I guess. I mean, to me, even like someone like Sense is useful, but I feel like Osa even more is so useful in getting a plant down.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pop a
There's
shield,
a reason
break
why.
the glass, just plant.
Yeah, there's a reason why every attacking team in Pro League is using at least trying at least one Osa strat out
Yeah.
during their matches. Not just in scrims, but in matches. It's like she gives you the perfect blend between Monty and a gunner, you know? She's that
I mean,
perfect
she has
middle
the
ground that you
5.56.
need.
She has the
There's nothing
5.56.
there's nothing wrong
fragment.
with the 5.56.
Oh, and there is definitely not something wrong with the 5.56. I would say it's one of the best guns. I've been maining that thing since my console days. I love the 5.56. Just shred through them. Literally, when Thermite is used as exothermics, Fragmite is a thing, and it's there for a reason. 5.56 shreds, and she's got smoke canisters and claymores. What is
Yeah.
there not to love?
I
Also,
don't have a problem
PMM.
with
I forgot about the PMM.
There's some yeah, but look, my problem with the 5.56 is just the fire rate, and I feel like Siege is
that
one of
is
those
fair.
games where fire rate is king a lot of the time. Yes, there is this bit of the problem with the LMGs where they do have a lower fire rate, but they've got the big mag that makes up for it. But look at the Vector. That thing is proof that fire rate is king. Look at the SMG 11s. It's very hard to outgun those things.
Yeah. Are we gonna get into the age-old debate of fire rate versus just hitting like a truck? I mean, honestly, sometimes, in my opinion, at least, given the current meta, I would prefer a gun just hitting hard. Tagging a player once, having a teammate finish him off. Sure, you've got healies, but that just hinders low fire rate guns even more. That makes your time to kill excessively higher. So I guess you make the argument for a high fire rate headshot, just spray and pray, but still, at least for me, I definitely lean towards high fire rate. I mean, a high
Who is
hitting.
the who's that YouTuber again? I think it's Rogue 9 who goes
Yes.
through that. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to go watch some of his videos and see what he managed to deduce with all his little figures and stats there.
Yeah.
With that being said, we are going to have to keep rambling here a little bit whilst the rest of the players join. We do actually have all the players in from KIL4. We're just waiting on a couple players here from Xhail to get into the lobby, taking their time here.
Do you remember the worst strat anyone has ever come up with from our Lord and Savior Fabian on border?
On board?
I'll
I think I know
narrow
which
it
one
down
you're
for you.
referencing to, but
It's
I'm
an
not
alibi.
100% sure. I
It
really
involves an alibi.
Oh, throwing the alibi up on the roof.
Yes,
In
where
the
it
spot,
cannot
there's
be
a certain
broken.
spot where you shot, where you yeah.
Yes. Yes. I want that to come back. I have been abusing it in my ranked games, and it works. It really works. I want teams to bring that back. Why don't they use that anymore?
I think the problem with it is that you're actively having to pick Alibi over something like Azami.
She's not a bad operator.
She's not a bad
The
operator,
ACS
but
12 is criminally
yeah,
underrated.
yeah, yeah. No. I agree with you. I agree with you. But the problem is that when I look at it, okay, if I look back at when I'm making a strat, you're very limited in your operator picks because realistically, most of the time when you start coming up with a strat, you've already got 3 operators in your mind who are non-replaceable. So that leaves you with
Yeah.
2 who you can play around with. And sometimes having to pick Alibi really isn't always the most advantageous when you've got something like a Zami, or maybe you could still put Smoke in.
Yeah, this is true. I mean,
But
she
with that
brings a
being
shield.
yeah, she brings a shield, but which does help her case, especially after who is it that lost his shield again? I'm trying to remember now. After Goyo lost his shields,
Yeah.
it does make a bit of a case. So there is that to note. But with that all being said and done, we are actually in the game now and in the operator ban phase. What are we
Whoop, whoop.
expecting out of what are we actually expecting out of these teams?
Thatcher.
Yeah.
There we
Thatcher?
go.
Yeah. Yeah. Xhail, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say
Flores. Are you just sticking
yeah.
to what we had with the previous game? I'm gonna go Finca.
You think Finka's gonna get banned? You don't think
I
Xhail
hope
will have
so.
a team to abuse the Finka LMG?
They are. Okay, yeah, they're a Jackal
Jackal.
team. I forgot about that. They're a ranked stack.
Yeah,
I mean,
this will-
that is the most positive way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be a mirror ban, I'm assuming. This is border after all, one of the maps where mirror does actually have the ability to have a bit of an effect.
I wouldn't. I'd expect an Echo or a Maestro ban coming out. Okay,
Hey,
that is.
okay, that's actually a good point. That's actually a good point.
I mean,
Smart of
this kind
Xhail
of
with that.
forces the hand to kill 4 to ban the mirror.
Yeah, but that was actually kind of smart. I've actually completely forgot about Cade for a second. Yeah, if that people please note, and I'm begging people, if Thatcher's been removed, just be smart and ban Cade. It's just the smart thing to do. That being said, Mute's also off the board. Quite an interesting pick there. I'm not actually quite sure why they would have done that.
Two reasons. They rely heavily on their drone work, that or they counter-stratted. If they're counter-stratting, a mute can be a really big ban. Takes away the shotgun during your prep phase, takes away the mute
good point,
jammers.
good point.
But I hope it's a counter-strat for their part and not just a blind pick.
To me, it doesn't really make sense as a ban when there are other options. But you know, we'll give KIL4 the benefit of the doubt here with what that's done. That being said, they're actually going customs first, not the site that most teams tend to pick as their first pick.
I would spin that on its head and say that's not a site anyone ever picks. That's the 4th bomb site anyone would pick.
Yeah.
Surely it's workshop, fence, bathroom.
I'm sorry, who just hit me with a thing in chat for simp? What?
What?
I saw something in chat popping up about simp, but I wasn't actually reading, so my apologies to whoever said something to me in chat. But anyway, not Twitch chat, in the in-game chat.
Game chat. I was not paying attention.
I was not paying attention either. I just saw the word simp come up.
I honestly, bold of you to assume that it is referring to you.
Hey, if you mention the word simp, it is referring to me. It is just the reality of it, okay?
I mean, I'm a simp.
Oh?
The fact that my girlfriend is watching.
I gave you your certificate, so...
Yes, you did. Okay, well, let's pivot back to the game and focus on the biggest of simp operators, who just wants thighs. Frost.
That's actually what wants the feet, but yeah. No, looking at it now, the Frost mats, they were quite interesting things. The first one on the window kind of default is what you'd expect. The second one around the corner though, that's one that's going to catch a lot of players off guard. But Xhail are actually making quick work here to get this wall open. They already got rid of the nade and they're getting ready to open up the wall. I do believe Ace is actually sitting there just doing a little bit, yeah, as the first Ace charge goes into the wall there. So Xhail making quick work here. I don't think they're getting caught off guard by anything that KIL4's doing here. They
are Okay, so I want to analyze this for a few seconds. Line going on the window, droning out into workshop, very important, because if there is a player lurking there, that is, they need to know about that. That is a potential for a C4 down below if they're going for the clear, which I presume they are. They know there's one in CCTV. They're going for the clear out. They've got someone top east. That's the Finker holding the crossfire. What is their plan of action? They're waiting for the Finker to catch someone off guard with a rotate. They're having Skippy put pressure onto CCTV. As soon as this barricade breaks, they're going to rotate or contest. Contest they do, but the C4 shot out, droned out. Now what they do, they're stuck in position. They have shields, yes, but they don't have any way. Okay, no, sorry, they do have a way to rotate out.
They do have a way to rotate out, and they do have a shield up there. But Sick does find the first kill for his team. Well, and that means Xhail with a minute and a half left on the scoreboard. Oh, the timer, my apologies. Well, KIL4 does actually find Danny with Sick finding a second kill here. Sick starting to go a bit big for his team here. But the Bandit is still playing upstairs here. He does have a lot of potential, but Sick is playing in a very good spot here. He's playing very aggressively, just playing in his sight here, not moving, giving KIL4 an inch. But with that being said, Tolo gets killed by Blomport, but does find Blomport. Arctic finding Skippy. He's still refusing to give up the top floor.
It's a bit sloppy, but still, I would say Xhail coming out on top, finds the final kill with the 6B41, shut down by the Lion. Xhail find it flawlessly to the second phase of that round. Like I said, it was a bit sloppy during that mid-execution, but I have to praise them for their clearing out. They had perfect crossfire with the Finker up on catwalk area, and they had perfect presence and just clearing out. They opened the wall, they put pressure up top, they had the crossfires set up, they had the Lion down below clearing out roamers being the X factor. It felt like everything was just accounted for by Xhail.
I don't know, Xhail looked like they had that planned. But at the same time, I actually don't know if I can agree with that, because if I look at it again, Stick kind of made play there for Xhail. He managed to find two important entry frags.
Yeah.
And he kind of made the KIL4 were kind of panicking. They didn't know what to hold. They still had Bandit upstairs trying to cling onto the top floor, but clinging onto the top floor on that side only does so much when Sick is downstairs busy charging his way through and just killing anyone who looks at him.
I think they set that up really well for him. I think it's an example of what we saw with the blitz during Oregon on the previous game, where the rest is just purely a distraction. Whereas last time it was a blitz that was literally a distraction. Here you have the main force of the team clearing out up top, while the Lion is just lurking, finding kills.
He's walking his way around and getting pick off the pick.
Also, I just want to point out the V308. More of that thing hits hard.
Oh no, it's a very good gun. Very good gun.
Angled grip. Compressor. Slaps.
But with that being said, KIL4 have opted not to return to that site, which to me makes sense. Not a very strong site. And Xhail are actually going to be doing a top floor row.
It's an LMG. I guess that's a meta pick. But what is this operator, Mr. Simp?
Would that be the fuse? It would be the fuse. Well, look, if there's any map you're going to use fuse, border kind of makes sense to me.
No, that is fair. And as well, they have a soft wall onto Armory side. Obviously, there isn't a player currently playing there. But a lot of horizontal as well as vertical angles to be used. Arctic is in a bit of trouble. Going to try and rotate out, and indeed he escapes with his life. No way to stim him back up, though. So, it seems for the rest of his life, he will commit it to up top.
You see, Arctic on the previous round, we saw him refusing to budge an inch when he was sitting up there with the Bandit, and actually did well. And he's kind of doing the same thing here. Yes, he's given up his territory on that side by... I've forgotten the call up now. Kanye, give me help me here for a second.
Which room is this?
Security. He's given up the territory in security, but he's still sitting up here on the top floor. Yes, he's low on HP, but still, he has the potential to not only get kills, but just to waste a lot of time. He's already wasted about half of Xhail's time, and they still haven't got any of the territory they need in the vertical. This bathroom teller site, you really need that top floor control if you want to be able to get a good plant down.
Honestly, I feel Xhail have themselves established on the map, and they've done damage to KIL4. That's as much as you want. Honestly, if you don't lose anything and you gain map presence, that is perfect. Sure, there's a minute
Yeah.
on the board, so yes, they need to make some moves, but at least in my eyes, for the first phase of that round, they have done what they wanted to
Yeah.
do. Entering, Skippy finds one. Arctic might pose some pressure. They knew he was here earlier and they dealt with him. Can they do that again? Does he check his corner? No, he does not.
Oh, no.
Fuse on the swing, the Lion to follow up. This is what Xhail excel at.
That community, that teamwork there. Yes, Arctic did miss his shots into the Fuse, which is very unfortunate for him, but they had a player there to respond. Even if Fuse had died, the refrag would have come out immediately. But Danny uses the Fuse to great success to get a kill, and Skippy finding Luxman. And it leaves it all down to BKG here. He's got 20 seconds left and no smoke canisters. Skippy closes it out.
That was really well done.
Yeah.
I feel Xhail truly have come into stride. And I'm not talking about in this game. I'm not even talking about in this tournament. This is an old team. I feel like something has clicked for them.
Yeah. You know, look, Xhail in the past, we've always been saying they're a good team. They just, they were like, they were kind of in a weird in-between where they weren't quite one of the lower teams. They were much better than the lower teams, but they weren't one of the top teams yet either.
Mm.
But you can see now the difference in the rosters here. You can see how Xhail were coordinated and the way that they've planned their push. That they didn't just all go, okay, let's clear out the top floor. They had a plan from start to finish. How they were going to clear the top floor, where they were going to put the fuse charges, and how they were going to execute. And that is what makes the difference between a lot of these teams. As we were talking earlier, with how there's the potential for a lot of the lower down teams to cause very big upsets in this tournament.
Yeah.
Xhail is showing how that could be done. Obviously, KIL4 is not one of those upper class teams we were talking about, but Xhail is showing more or less how one of those upsets could be caused.
The only
that's-
thing that's then
yeah.
kind of registering in my mind as kind of a red flag is, sure, they're facing off against KIL4 now, and they're doing well, but what happens when Xhail faces off against a much better team, say Nixa, for example? I feel that's the team we always point towards as, ooh,
Yeah.
the boogeyman. But okay, what if they face off against them? That Jaeger that was up top, if he doesn't miss his first shot, if he connects maybe onto a second, you are screwed. I
yeah,
commented,
no, 100%.
Xhail, they did well in getting onto the map and not losing anything. Good for them. Really well done. I love to see it. But they're going to find issues if they can't finalize the kills. There are these tiny tidbits that they still need to worry about. And that's, I feel
100%.
honestly KIL4 could still exploit that in this game.
Yeah, KIL4's got a lot of room to work with. It's not like, yes, that last round was a little bit dominant from Xhail, but at the same time, this is Border. Border is a map which everyone knows how to play. KIL4 know how to play it. I'm not quite sure why they keep going to customs though. But for whatever reason, they feel comfortable there. They have actually made a slight change to the setup here. Bringing in the cast, putting the castle barricade there, which wasn't there before. Quite a smart castle. It gives, especially the side where we saw Arctic up here before and the band refusing to budge, it gives him a lot of room to play around with. Now he's sitting here on the smoke and he does get an excellent kill on Skippy as Skippy looks away. The wall is going to open though, so he is going to start feeling some pressure here, but killing Skippy, that's a big one gone. That's nades gone and the powerful gun of the ARX off the board.
It's really interesting. I feel Xhail have read into this perfectly. They can get onto the map without any pressure. Sure, KIL4 is posted up top, but that doesn't mean too much when they can't contest. What is the value of playing up top? Well, it's delaying. And obviously, if they go from down below, well, it's to get the vertical, but I digress. It is to find kills or waste time. They can't really do that when they've completely barricaded themselves off. They find the kills up top with the nades and the guns, and now it's just Blompot left. It's an Xhail masterclass.
Blompot gets the first kill that he needs, but he's still going to have to find 3 more. There is a lot of time for Xhail to work here, but the diffuser has been down, but they are fully aware of his position, and he's literally just pinned in the corner here and can't even move. Nothing he could do.
Oh, I took a sip of water as soon as that happened. He was so stuck.
There was nothing he could do. I'm sorry, Blompot, but you were in so much trouble.
Oh, okay. So let's reel it back. It feels like the first half of Xhail's attack has flown past. But yeah, this is looking mighty fine.
Yeah. No, it's looking good for Xhail at the moment. We've said earlier, KIL4 on one hell of a losing streak, and I'm starting to see why. Unfortunately, it very much looks like it's a team where you've only got 1 or 2 players that are performing, and the rest just are constantly feeling under pressure and outgunned.
Yeah.
But again, it's only been 3 rounds. It could massively change. Tachanka has been brought out. Mirror's been brought out. Let's see what they got in mind. They've also gone to a site which tends to be the preferential site for most teams. So maybe this is where it all switches up.
Yeah, obviously we haven't seen too much Tachanka play, strangely enough. What do you think of this operator's potential, and especially on something like Archives, Armory and Palace?
Well, I think Tachanka offers he offers a decent alternative to Smoke, not in the sense of that.
So if you can pop to mirror quickly. Whoa.
That's a very interesting mirror window.
How was he even able to place that? That's my question. Like, half of that thing isn't on a soft wall.
That is an extreme. I don't know if it's a client-sided thing that we're seeing there, or
Probably. Because in my experience, I play a lot of mirror. If you even shoot out a tiny bit, that mirror just cannot be placed on that soft wall.
Yeah. But with that being said, we're just moving back onto the Tachanka thing. He's an alternative to the Smoke, but in a different way. You can't use him in those situations where you sit behind a shield and just keep popping the things when there's 30 seconds left. He's not as good at that. But what he is good at is finding weird lineups where you can just sit around without ever exposing yourself and stop them from being able to walk into a certain area. But the problem with him is that the moment that the other team pushes past that lineup, he struggles, because at the end of the day, you are sitting with a bit of a situation where you will be outgunned.
I was quickly picking my own brain as to why Thermite would be tracking Sledge through the wall. Obviously, you can see your teammate through the wall, but
yeah,
is he looking for an indication on a timestamp? I feel they have this coordinated to a T to where he is looking for the input as to when to make his own move, because the nades have come through and now they're opening the wall. And where has that Sledge gotten the kill from?
Okay. Yeah, so that was definitely a bit of a timing thing there. Sledge, Tolo, he's pushing his way in, he's going very aggressive. He does find a Banshee, and there is a player on his left who is aware of his position. Tolo doesn't care, he finds one. The whole Xhail has just collapsed in on the site here. Tolo does get down, it's all down to Arctic, but Shock closes it out. A lot of good teamwork there coming out from the side of the Xhail. That does put themselves up 4-0.
Incredibly impressed.
Oh, yeah. No, this looks well rehearsed. This is a team that's actually been practicing and putting in the work in scrims. You can see it.
I'm impressed, but I still feel that tiny bit of criticism I had earlier is still valid towards their later games. I'm gonna try and pull up their group stages just to see whether they have actually faced off against any of the highest seed teams during the quote-unquote whatever teams we nailed them as, because I really feel this team is so well coordinated, but they still might face issues when facing off against higher teams. I'm just pulling up the info now.
Oh yeah, look, Xhail. Look, but the thing is, that's what we were wanting to see from the scene for a long time. We were wanting to see teams like Xhail finally bridge the gap, and this is obviously a good start for them. And for people who aren't as experienced in the scene or who are new to comp, perhaps, take Xhail as a decent example of what you need to do. You know, you can see they're coordinating. As you said, that Thermite was watching Sledge to check that he was in the positions, and then they all just collapsing on the site. That's the type of gameplay you want to be seeing at a higher level, and it is the type of gameplay that, for a reason why KIL4 is obviously struggling so much at the moment.
Okay, so just having quickly pulled up the stats, they beat out TKO 7-0. They beat out the stack of TXP Scala Sulk them 7-3, and they beat out V-Drop 8-7. So that's kind of what I was commenting on, whereas sure, they might be able to beat out these quote-unquote lower tier teams in what they did 7-0 versus TKO, but again, they got a win against V-Drop, though in overtime 8-7. So I really like what this team is doing. I really want to have my eyes on them towards some of the later games during this group stage.
Oh, yeah. No, they are one of the teams that are really that you really have to watch out for, just from the gameplay perspective during later in this group stage. I don't know if they'll hit the LAN. There's a good chance, but I feel like there is also some stiff competition in their way. Namely, this is a group which I do believe has Bulin and Levitate in it.
Yes.
If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So stiff competition to reach the LAN, but they are really a team to watch out for in this group stage. That being said, Xhail are starting with some nades from below here, the up nades, as they've been called on stream a couple times.
Oh, you've been watching UL?
Yes.
I love the terminology from Fresh.
Yeah. But that being said, KIL4 gonna have to figure out something to do here. They are obviously on the same side again, and I don't think they want to be caught out of the same little tactics. They are going to be less surprised by it.
I want to try and analyze this now hard for a bit, because last time, okay, you had the wall being opened up from the thermite. As soon as that happened, one player jumped in CC, got a few kills, and just wreaked havoc. Now what has happened? One player's traded onto Skippy. How do they react to that? We haven't really seen Xhail at a back foot after the first trades in a game. They find the answer back. Sure, Bane takes one down, but this is really where the rubber hits the road. This is where they need to prove themselves, because they've been in the driver's seat. But now a nade sailing on through, he's a breath away from death. The second surely to confirm. No, it doesn't. He makes a payment, but he gets no investment out of it. Finds one. Surely there's a player at half wall, is there not?
There is still a player at half wall. That is one big of a blunder by KIL4. Danny is fully aware of it though, not quite sure how he managed to get out of there with his life. But with that being said and done, KIL4 for the first time are actually sitting here in a pretty situation where there's no way to force this player out, but he does do an unnecessary peek, and Shock, holding from down below, does manage to get the kill and bring his team back into a 2-2 man count here.
That shows me patience. The fact that with 30 seconds left, they opt to rotate one man down. Now, though, from the flank, he's facing off against a crossfire. Might be a bit too cheeky. Swinging on into the repel angle, it's just Shock. If there's one player that can do it, if there's one gun that can do it, it is him. He doesn't have the diffuser, though it's at his feet. Faced with the crossfire, there is almost no way he plants this diffuser. He needs to find these kills. Go for one and then try and lock out the other. What will he do? He faces off against the one, but from the crossfire, shuts him down. That's one round on the board for KIL4.
Much better round from KIL4. This flank here, very smart play. I don't know if it was the player himself who decided it, or if they're IGL or their captain or whoever was called for him to go do it. But a very smart flank from him that ultimately won the round. Not quite sure how the mirror survived behind half wall for so long, and why she then went and peeked that. As long as she was alive there, that meant effectively Xhail couldn't move. But small mistake, bigger mistakes, but in the end didn't really matter. KIL4 did manage to get that first round they needed. Do we think Border is an attacker-sided map?
No.
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 So, still not looking pretty here.
No, I'm still sticking with my vote of Xhail taking this. I've just seen too much good team play from them this game.
Yeah, no, I've seen too much good team play from Xhail as well. I fully agree with you on that. One question I do have for the side of KIL4 though is, can you replicate that round you just had and do it again here, just to at least try and get to an even scoreboard so you've got some breathing room when you're attacking off?
The problem is you look to players like Luxman and maybe even Arctic, where that previous round, in my mind, was won because of the early gunfights. That is the Citizen, the Shaiko effect, whatever you want to call it. But with teams like these, who might be lower tier, aren't really competing for those top spots, you really cannot replicate that. Not saying that any of these teams, these players are less proficient, just like it's not as consistent. It really isn't. And wow. I believe he was droned out, but still. Okay, the shots just keep on raining. We are being
shots keep on raining,
treated
and Arnik is not giving up his position. We saw earlier, whenever he plays up here, he refuses to give up that position. He's doing extremely well to do that, but Shock finally finds the kill. Shock is a big player for his team here. The rest is, he's actually, I believe that previous round was actually his first death, so he's still a 7-1 scoreline for himself. But there is actually a sneaky player from Xhail there. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a C4 he's going to be able to use, but still, he can really cause some havoc later in the round. Oh, and he does have impacts, that is a good point. But he does have the potential. I don't think it's a spot that a lot of teams will actually drone out, even though they should. That's very easy to miss spot. And he could possibly cause a lot of chaos here with the late round flank.
Xhail just has too much time, honestly, and they still have the Finker and the Lion. They've got the EEDs and 3 stim shocks. In my mind, they have so much to work with. Plus, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about the sledge opening up the verticals with 4 nades to follow. They have a lot of utility here to work with. Plus, they're doing their due diligence with time on their side. They were very quick in finding that opening and then clearing out CCTV. This leaves them with so much leeway. Yes, they don't have a hard breacher, so they might have to funnel on through some doorways, but at the very least, it's not looking terrible for Xhail.
It's not looking terrible for Xhail, and Tolo's just made it look better as well. Getting that man advantage with Bane being gone, that means that flank that they had to be cautious with earlier is gone, as Tolo does get another kill with a nade as well. This leaves it all down to BKG. He hasn't found a single kill yet this game. He's gonna have to make something big work here if he wants to make it easy for his team. Does do a lot of damage to Tolo, but doesn't hit the kill. Whips out the short. He does find the first kill of the game, but Shock closes it out for his team, putting it down to a 5-1 on the first half, meaning Xhail, all they need is one round of this thing on match point. KIL4 actually requesting out their timeout now, maybe to try and discuss their attacks and what they can do to just bring this back a bit.
Another positive for Xhail. Sometimes teams who heavily strat suffer during the late phases. When one or two things don't go their way, they don't really know how to sit back, analyze what they have to work with, and then maybe come up with a new strategy on the spot.
Yeah,
they did that quite well. Now, granted, they had a lot to work with. Like I said, they had the Finker, the Lion, and 2 sets of nades. It's a lot you can work with, but still, that shows some prowess. They were able to locate the Wamai, shut him down, get a great nade kill, and then just collapse onto the last. Xhail really, to me, are looking spicy.
Yeah, it's a team that's looking very good. Again, like we were saying this whole time, it's one of those teams where they're a class above the rest, but the question is just how far up that class do they go, you know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, KIL4 are really feeling the pain of what it's like to play against a team that's really just in a different league almost. But with that being said, they just had their timeout now. They've taken a mental break, they've reset themselves, and they've discussed what they can do in their attacking half. They've got a good lineup here. Yeah, it's a side swap. They've got a good lineup here. So this could be where they completely turn it around. But if Xhail's attacks are anything to go by, I'm pretty sure their defenses are going to be pretty sound. They're going to have some pretty good defensive setups as well.
Oh, Tulo, I beg of you, my friend. Observer, during the last phases of this prep phase, just follow Tulo. Just like when there's like 2 or 3 seconds left.
I would like to point out that he has the shotgun.
ACS-12, represent. That thing is a DMR. I will take no ACS-12 slander.
No, I won't slander it. But just to say that MX4 is a laser beam.
When last have you played it? It has quite a bit of recoil.
Just pull down, man.
Okay, Mr. Big Brain Coach Man. There's a reason you're a coach.
Yeah. Oh. Is it? Okay, anyway. With that being said, with the round starting here, I don't believe he's actually done that with the prisoners. I'm just first prisoner coming out here, not quite as we go between the visual bug, Ubisoft.
Okay, it doesn't have one on the roof. I have this is one of the weirdest walk the plank, I guess, but this is one of the weirdest observer bugs I've seen in a while.
Yeah, Ubisoft, I don't know how to explain this one.
Yeah, worst case, we're probably gonna have to re-host after this.
I do think this is a single round bug. I do not know.
No, we had it in the previous round. We had some fragments as well.
Oh, did we have it in the previous round as well? With that being said, Arctic making quick work to get rid of the bandit charges. Good work being done by him. That gives KIL4 some options here. Especially with the thermite on the board, they've got a lot of options to try and get that wall open. But let's not forget, it is a bandit, and it's been a long time since we've seen some bandit tricking. But I'm being dumb. Danny's on the bottom floor. He can't bandit trick it, which means that wall is pretty much guaranteed to go open.
Well, it seems Xhail are very concentrated towards the main site. This is their do or die. This is where they will contest. Site going wild on the breacher strategy we don't see often, but sometimes can work out. Hey, the ACS-12 kicks like a bull. I don't
like
really know what kicks. What does kick?
A donkey or ostrich or a horse?
All of the above.
All of the above, but with that, Danny finds another kill for Xhail, meaning that And also Arctic as well. Arctic being one of the big players for his team here and instrumental in that round that just managed to win. Bane being gone as well. It's all down to Blomport and Luxman. Luxman did go big in one of the previous rounds, so he's going to have to try and replicate that for his team here. Blomport gets down, gets nailed by Tola. It's all up to Luxman. He isn't aware that someone might be coming up behind him here. He does find Tola, the NMG sprays through, does a lot of damage to Danny as well. Luxman not ready to give up for his team here. But Shock finds the last kill. This means now Xhail is sitting on match point.
Bit of a revenge from the same angle they exploited against Xhail previously, used to shut down KIL4's final attack. And really shut down is the word that needs to be highlighted. I mean, Xhail were just swinging into it. Sick lost his life on the breach swing, but after that, yeah, they just swung and got kills. Which, honestly, if we come back to the overarching storyline of Xhail being this middle pack team, heavily now focusing on strats. If potentially they've also done some aim training and they have maybe some home brewed aim gods that we don't really know about yet. If you have the strategy, you have the X Factor players. That is incredibly deadly.
Oh, it's very deadly. It's extremely deadly. But at the same time, we were saying earlier, they're in a tough group. They're sitting, well, both the groups are quite tough, but they're sitting there. They were going to have to beat Levitate, and they're going to have to beat, what's her name, Bulan. Both those teams have the players who have the reputation, not just because they're well known, but because they've
I pointed this out in the previous game. Like, it's been 6 months.
It's been a long
since
time,
the previous tournament. Like, no one has bragging rights anymore.
That's a good point. That is a very good point, except for Xhail at the moment, because they've been doing very well, so I guess they can have some bragging rights themselves here. As Castle actually starts setting up a bit of a setup here.
This
quite
is
interesting.
Yeah, they've fully opened up into Workshop.
Yeah. So, this is Wamai, your feet. I like what you're doing. I don't think it's going to work though, but I like what he's trying.
I thought you were going to use my quote.
No. Unfortunately, I do not have all the quotes you have, but there is one quote I would like to use now, but we'll have to wait for the situation to arrive. 2 minutes 20. KIL4 still haven't really looked like they've actually decided how they want to approach this yet.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like they're flailing for the time being. They're droning out, yes, but there's no real follow through, and when there is, the players are just falling back. Look, Xhail, you've still got the Melusi down below, just sitting pretty. You've got some players up top doing some pecking damage onto these attacking players in CC. Again, like I said, flailing.
Yeah, flailing is a good way to describe it. I just think KIL4 is stumped. I think they've been beaten, they've been battered and bruised so far in this game, and they just kind of don't know what to do anymore. But there could be a little bit of an encounter here. I do believe these players are both aware somewhat of each other's positions, but not entirely sure on where they are. Skippy takes a huge amount of damage, but he does opt to rotate through here a little bit, trying to find another way through. Shock trying to get aggressive here with the player above him. Doesn't really find him though, and they're just kind of playing Ring Around the Rosie, unknowingly playing Ring Around the Rosie with each other. Shock definitely would have heard that camera being shot out though.
Was Shock the player we highlighted for the high KD before this game?
Yes.
Because currently this man is on 10 and 1. He is buffing that stat round after round, though. Finds his own grave. Maybe that's another stat. 6 down. Down into the dirt.
50 seconds left though. Yes, Xhail are down on 2 men, but let's not forget, we've seen big plays coming out of the rest of the Xhail players, especially from Tolo. And along with that, we've also got the fact that there's only 40 seconds left for KIL4 to try and find their way in here, and they haven't really opened anything up yet. Yes, they got rid of the roamers. Good start.
They don't really need to open up anything. I want to point out.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
Most of the site has been opened up, and usually you would say in this scenario, oh no. But 20 seconds. They need to get this bomb down. They need to get onto the site. What can Xhail do? Well, they can sit pretty and use these angles. Danny as well. Rather make that too low. He's in a tricky situation. Finds one, finds two. That's a double for you. On the frost map, can he find anything? Danny from the side hasn't even been brought into the equation. From the prone position, he doesn't need to do anything. Xhail lock it down with a castle just sitting in the bathroom.
I'm sorry, Tolo, how did you survive that so long? He was unstoppable like a gorilla, man. Did I say that right?
No. Okay.
No.
The full quote. I'm gonna save that for the next broadcast. If you want to
Okay,
know what my little quote is, I've been preparing a list of like casting words and terminologies that I really like and pick up during everyday use that I write down and use for broadcasting. And it's been about 3 months since the last broadcast, so
this is a
my
lot
is like
list.
It's growing. You should be scared.
List. Except for something about kicking.
About?
Kicking. You still haven't got anything for kicking? Because
kicking?
You're trying to figure out what kicks.
Oh, kick style.
Ah. Good point. But anyway, with
Where
that,
are we taking this?
I don't know. But with that, before we get dragged down a rabbit hole here, that is actually our last game for tonight. So I don't believe we have any interviews, do we, Mr. Observer? You'll have to inform us of this. We will have to.
This shall be confirmed. We are currently asking the teams whether there is an interview, but just for the time being, I want to say thank you, everyone. The support truly has been amazing. I mean, we were averaging around 30, 35-ish viewers during the stream. The previous one, I didn't keep an eye out, but like 40, I imagine, peak at some point. For group stages, at like 11 with load shedding, that is, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Like the continued support from the community is great. I know it's a little bit rough sometimes, especially with load shedding and especially with dealing with tournaments, and it's not always the easiest thing to do. But thank you very much for the continued support. Thank you for the support to Aldo and them. It's all for you guys. It's a lot of effort that's going in here, and I hope you all are enjoying it as much as we've been enjoying watching and commentating it.
I've been having fun. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been on a casting desk. I feel a bit rusty at times. Thank you for sitting with our rambles at certain points during this game. But hey, we all need to get warmed up for those grand finals.
We all do need to get warmed up for those grand finals, and we're just still waiting to see if there's going to be an interview coming in. I'm not sure how long we're supposed to wait for that. But one thing we were saying continuously during this game, I've been very, very impressed with Xhail. I do really think there's a lot of potential coming out of that team. Originally, when we first saw the roster back when I was still on the scene, we saw the roster and we were like, nothing impressive. But suddenly, the first time we played them originally then, there was some impressive things coming out of them. And today I've seen it's kind of the fruits of the labor, you know? They've been working hard for a long time. They stuck it through, even through this off season with very little work, with nothing happening in the scene, and they still managed to get some stuff going together.
So let's hypothetical situation. You were still a coach for X team, looking for playoffs, scouting some spicy teams, looking just to see what the playing field looks like. What would you tell your team after watching a game like this?
I would tell them that we need to make sure we don't actually underestimate Xhail. I think Xhail would have been a team that a lot of teams will underestimate, especially from the top teams. It was kind of the same thing I always used to say whenever I saw Misflix team. It was kind of, guys, I know you feel confident, but at the same time, don't underestimate them. They really do have this ability to just absolutely tear apart a strat if you let them get through it a little bit, you know? Or if you're not 100% focused, they do have this ability to just cause havoc. But with that being said, we do actually have Psyche here for an interview. I'll drag him in, and then Kanye, you can have your go with him.
Hello.
Hello there. Congratulations, firstly, on the win. That was quite the decisive victory, but just some quick post-game thoughts. After that game, are you proud of your team's performance?
Yeah, I'm actually very proud. We really did enjoy ourselves and had a blast playing the game, actually. And I think everyone's quite happy with the win.
You know, it really did look fun at times. There was that one round, I think the second to last round, where the exothermic breach was going off and you just swung onto a player. You got domed instantly, but at that point in time, at least it looked like you were having fun.
Yeah, just hoping to have popped off there, but unfortunately it didn't work out.
One question I wanted to ask: how much prep have you guys been doing going into this tournament? Obviously, it's been a long time since since any Siege tournaments have been together, and I also heard a little rumor that you guys were thinking about moving over to CS.
Yeah, we actually played into Div 3 CS a little bit, and we haven't actually been doing that much prep. We kind of just are a group of friends, and we've got really good chemistry together, so we just naturally work well together. And so when we play ranked or 1v1 in each other, we're just always having a blast. So it kind of transfers into our comp games and kind of successful through that way.
Justin,
Okay, so
everything we said was false.
yeah, everything we said was false. We were sitting here. Oh, you guys have been prepping. You guys have been practicing and getting ready just to make sure that you can cause some upsets. But it turns out you guys have just been having fun.
Yeah, Mastermind Daniel is actually the one coming up with these strats. They've been working quite well actually from I think almost the beginning of our team. It's just quite smart there.
That's awesome to hear. And tell me, what else? Obviously, your group, you still got a couple matches to go, but how are you feeling your chances for actually getting to the LAN? You've got some tough competition higher up in the group as well.
I feel our chances are really, really high. We just got to keep making sure that we're putting in this performance that we have been, keeping these scores up, and hopefully we can knock off those two tough opponents that we're kind of eyeing out in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of everything I've got from my side. Kanye, do you have anything further to ask?
Which teams do you think will be the biggest roadblock?
Berlin,
Okay.
quite a few names there,
Yeah.
and probably Levitate. There's
Okay.
quite a few names there as well. I think they're the old Phoenix roster or something like that.
Yeah, it's a
Couple players
combination
from
of the old Phoenix roster and some other players that are kind of well known in the scene. You know those players that
Yeah.
like to cause the drama on Twitter.
yeah. So those are just the two teams we're kind of eyeing out, but we don't want to take it too seriously and go into like a whole strat and zone ourselves off. We're just gonna keep it free like we have been and hoping that it works.
Well,
Awesome.
best of
And
luck for that mindset. I hope it does bring you far. It would be really refreshing to see you guys at that LAN.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank you so much.
all the best. Yeah, all the best for the rest of the tournament, and good luck.
Thank you guys. You too. Enjoy.
Thank you.
So then,
But, yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
a refreshing talk, a bit of a touch wood for us.
yeah. Touch wood for us. Turns out we don't know what we're talking about at all, because clearly it's not a lot of prep work that they've been doing. But with that all said and done, it actually makes him look a little bit more impressive as well to me now.
Almost definitely. And I mean, really, chemistry is underestimated. It can take you so far as a team. Great heights.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I think great heights still for this team to come. If not LAN, definitely making playoffs.
Yeah, definitely making playoffs. I'm still questioning whether or not they can make it to the LAN. I do think they're going to have a lot of problems when they're having to fight the likes of Levitate and Bulin. But we'll have to see when that comes, and that'll be some matches for another night. But with that being said, I do believe that's us done for tonight.
Sleep time. Thank you
Sleep
so much,
time.
guys, for joining. I know it's late. I know there's load shedding, but I really appreciate the support. We all do. All do in the back. Justin, do you appreciate it? I don't want to speak for you. Do you appreciate?
Of course, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you,
I
everyone.
love this scene. I love this scene.
Okay, have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.